Please respond. Is it, am I audible? Mic is on or not on? No, no, give me a second. Now, is it or it is not? Still, there's a problem. No voice is coming. Give me a second. Now, there should not be a problem. Good morning to all. Now, you respond. Is it audible? Say yes or no. Perfect. Fine. So let me repeat the same thing. Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English. Before we go to the analysis, let us have a look at the enrichment part. On the one hand, you're going to learn effective words, and on the other hand, besides effective words, you're going to learn comprehension skill. You're going to learn to some extent grammar, consolidation, and on the other hand, you're going to work on exercises based on exam topics. Today, you're going to work on spot the errors, jumble. I have brought from the Economist magazine, quite challenging. For the first time, exam pattern, you're going to work on synonyms, antonyms, idioms, and as usual, editorial words and meanings. Now, let us go to the editorial, the broad framework, and the basic question. Now, what is this editorial about? It is about cooperation among CMs of different states on center-state relations. We all know today, if you look at Indian Constitution, we have a quasi-federal system. You can say quasi or quasi. I prefer quasi. Quasi means not complete, partial. Quasi federal system. That means what? Center has certain powers, states have certain powers. It is neither unitary nor federal. It's a mix of unitary system and federal system. Based on that, we say we have a quasi federal system. Whenever there's a quasi federal system, completely unitary, there's no problem. Completely federal, there's no problem. But in between, we always have problems. And quite often, we come across in the media the problems between the center and the states. There's a backdrop. Now, this editorial is about the mechanism for cooperation among CMs of different states on center state relations. It's always a problem, center state relations, and this is about the cooperation among different CMs of different states when it comes to center state relations. Now, what is a broad framework? It starts with Mamata Banerjee's call regarding supporting the farmers. But the editorial says this call, asking other CMs to join to support the farmers on farm laws, it goes beyond that. That means what? There are certain political intentions. But it says, though there are certain political intentions, it's a good beginning, it's a good start, it's an important start. What is the reason? It focuses on farm laws. Then the editorial talks about the stand taken by the government. Government says these farm laws are good, but the farmers are protesting. And now the states of different states, they want to join, they want to support the farmers. Then he talks about the fact. What is a fact? Though they are good according to the center, the fact is no one can deny the fact that the center has not consulted the states. States should have been consulted. That is a fact. No one can deny that. Then he talks about Mamata Banerjee's meeting with the farmers. Based on that, they requested her to talk to other CMs. Based on that, she responded. She has come up with a proposal to conduct a virtual meeting with other CMs of the different states. And the response, then the editorial talks about the response. The response is positive, but it talks about the past. In the past, what happened? Two other CMs, one Kerala, the other Tamil Nadu, they are also against the farm laws. Then he talks about all the CMs may not join. Always exceptions are there. And it gives the example of the Delhi CM. And what could be the reason? The reason, there's one important word, retribution. I will tell the meaning later. It means punishment based on vengeance. Then it talks about vaccination policy. In the recent past, yesterday I think, or day before yesterday, I did an editorial on new vaccine policy. One of the reasons states have been demanding, and some sort of union was there to some extent. There was some sort of union. But now the editorial says when it comes to vaccine policy, they were successful to some extent. But when it comes to farm laws, it may not be that easy, not easy. But the salient point, it talks about that. Salient means important. What is the important point? The states were not consulted. States should have been consulted, and they should be based on that. They should be talks about the main idea. What is the main idea? Mechanism for CMs of different states to cooperate with one another related to center state relations. Then he talks about what the Prime Minister says quite often, cooperative federalism. And in that direction, the first step is to invite the states to discuss the farm laws. This is a broad framework. If you ask me, so is this an important editorial? Significance, it goes with polity, it goes with center state relations, very important. It is important from prelims point of view and mains point of view. You may get as a passage or you may get close test. Now let us go to the editorial. How does it start? Seeds and fruits. I thought it is an idiomatic expression. I cross checked, but it is not an idiom. Seeds and fruits. Perhaps they want to talk about the farm laws. Based on that, they have started with seeds and fruits. And the main idea of this editorial, a mechanism for CMs to cooperate on issues of center state relations, is welcome. Now, CMs of different states who are not part of the BJP coalition, they want some sort of mechanism for those states or CMs of those states to cooperate with one another on issues related to center state relations. And this is something we have to welcome. That's what the editorial says. Now, how does it start? It starts with Mamata Banerjee's call. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's call for cooperation among non NDA counterparts in other states to support farmers agitating against three controversial laws made in June 2020 seems part of a larger political project. Now it says, this sentence says, Mamata Banerjee has given a call for cooperation among non-NDA counterparts. There's one important word, counterpart. We have got already. Counterpart means what? Someone in the same position somewhere else, someone in the same authority somewhere else. For example, I'm a manager over here, and there is another manager who works for the same company in the US. Then how do I refer to that person? He is my counterpart. He is my counterpart. So this sentence talks about Mamata Banerjee's calling for cooperation among non-NDA counterparts in other states. And why this cooperation? Regarding what? Regarding to support the farmers against three controversial laws made in 2020. But this seems, though she has called for, apparently, obviously, it is to support the farmers and go against the controversial farm laws. There is something behind, hidden agenda. What is that? Seems to be part of a larger political project. There are certain political intentions. That's what the sentence talks about. It is meant to go beyond aiding the farmers. That means it is meant to go beyond helping the farmers who fear that these laws could make them more vulnerable to market fluctuations. Now, these farmers have been agitating. There should be some sort of fear, only then you try to agitate. What is the fear of the farmers? They think these laws could make them more vulnerable to market fluctuations. Thank you very much. Now, what is this market fluctuations? Fluctuation means keep changing quite often. Fluctuations in the prices, fluctuations in the standards, that's not a good thing. Now, farmers, they have been agitating, I think, more than 3 months or more than that. I don't remember, to be candid with you people. So, why are they agitating? Why are they protesting? Why they have been protesting rather? They are worried about They are vulnerable. There's an important word, but we have got many a time. Vulnerable means you are in a weak situation where you're likely to get exploited, or we can say endangered, threatened, not in a strong position. Vulnerable to what? Market fluctuations. But the focus on farm laws, which the government says would make farming more competitive and remunerative, is an important start. Now, farmers are not happy, that is one thing. But here, though this sentence talks about, though Mamata Banerjee's call, it has political intentions, the focus on farm laws, that is a good beginning, that's a good start, which the government says. Obviously, the government says the laws are good, otherwise, they wouldn't have brought those laws. The government says would make farming more competitive and remunerative. What is the stand of the government? Opposition farmers are not happy. Now, some of the state governments they want to support the farmers. Now, what is the stand of the government? The government says these farm laws are very beneficial and more competitive and remunerative. There is one word, remunerative, means what? Something that is lucrative or financially beneficial, emotionally, financially rewarding, lucrative. Generally, it goes with the financial dimension. Now, here, I'm not going to stress the grammar part today. Whatever is in green, it goes with grammar, and you have to make out the tenses. It is meant to go beyond, it is in present, and these laws could make them. There's a possibility. The government says, again, narration, the reporting verb is in present, and this is all you have to analyze. While the government reiterated, we have got this word many a time, while the government reiterated this week that MSP for various crops would continue, the fact remains that regardless of the merits of these laws, they were made without adequate consultations with parties, states, and the stakeholders. Now, here the sentence says there's one point the sentence talks about. The fact remains that we'll see later. While the government reiterated, reiteration to say something repeatedly, while the government reiterated this week that MSP for various crops would continue, something positive, the fact remains that regardless of the merits of these laws, one fact cannot be denied. What is that fact? They were made without adequate consultations with parties, states, and the stakeholders. They should have consulted the parties, the states, and the stakeholders. That would have been highly appreciable and that would have been justified. This sentence talks about that. Though there are certain merits, no one can deny the fact that the stakeholders were not consulted. After a meeting with farmer leaders from Uttar Pradesh, Ms. Banerjee said she accepted the request to speak to other chief ministers who are not in the NDA. Now, the farmers, she had West Bengal CM, Ms. Banerjee, she had a meeting with the farmers, and the farmers requested her to talk to the CMs of other states who are not part of the NDA, and she accepted their request. This sentence talks about that. After a meeting, that's a phrase, with farmer leaders, she accepted, here it is in past tense, to speak to the other chief ministers who are not in the NDA. What is this? Tell again. What does it mean? Please be very specific. That she had a meeting with, if you're talking about this sentence, she had a meeting with the farmers from Uttar Pradesh. In that meeting, the farmers requested Miss Banerjee to talk to CMs of other states who are not part of the NDA. And she accepted their request. Based on that, while reiterating her demand to repeal the three laws, she has proposed a virtual conference of CMs with the farmers and a joint letter to center on the issue. She accepted their request, and while reiterating her demand to repeal the three laws, she has reiterated her demand. There's one word here, reiterate, means what? To emphasize, to say repeatedly. To repeal, that's an important word. Repeal means revoke or annul. It is something like cancel, take back. The three laws, controversial laws, she has proposed, while doing that, she has proposed a virtual conference of CMs with the farmers and a joint letter to center on the issue. Two dimensions. While reiterating her demand to repeal the laws or revoke the three controversial laws, she has done two things. One, she has proposed a virtual meeting with conference with CMs of other states. One thing. What is the other thing? A joint letter to the center on the issue. Didi, okay. Many CMs are likely to agree with her, despite political rivalries among them. Now, this particular proposal, what could be the response from CMs of other states? Many CMs are likely to join, despite, that's an important word. It talks about the contrast, despite the political rivalries among them. There's one important word: rivalries, competition, political rivalries among them. They all don't stand on the same platform. They have their own differences. In spite of that, they may join, they may agree. There's a possibility. And now it provides the background information to states. At least two other CMs who were elected along with her in the recent assembly elections share her position on the farm laws. That means they are on the same track. Two CMs of two different states who have they have got recently elected, they share the same opinion. All the three are on the same platform. To substantiate that, the next sentence talks about that. Kerala's Pinarayi Vijayan and Tamil Nadu's MK Stalin. He gives these two examples. In Kerala, the previous assembly had, in December 2020, passed a unanimous resolution seeking the repeal of these laws. The same stand. Now, Mamata Banerjee wants the laws to be repealed. Already in 2020, Kerala government assembly, they had in December 2020 passed a unanimous an important word, means what? Without any differences, everyone stands on the same thing. They agree onto this. They agree to the same point. Then we say unanimous decision. That's an important word. And there's something from grammar point of view. Passed a unanimous, not an unanimous, a unanimous resolution. That you should remember. That said, now it talks about something may not happen. That said, all non-NDA CMs may not be willing to be part of a joint platform because of the individual calculations and expediency and the fear of retribution by the center. First, the editorial says many CMs may join. There's a possibility, and it gives an example of Kerala government and Tamil Nadu government. They are on the same platform, and in fact, 2020 Kerala government in the assembly they had passed a unanimous resolution to repeal the laws. Now it talks about all may not join. That said, all said and done, all non-NDA SIMs may not be willing to be part of a joint platform. Why? Because two reasons. One, individual calculations. In politics, every state has its own unique status or unique situation, and based on that, they have their own calculations and expediency, how fast it may happen. And the second factor, the fear of retribution by the center. Now, listen very carefully. There is one important word, retribution. I'll read out the meaning: punishment inflicted on someone as vengeance for a wrong or criminal act. This is like from the dictionary. But generally, there's something important. Expediency means to speed up, expediency. Now, here, retribution. There's one important expression. Please listen very carefully. Here, we use one expression, retributive justice. When it comes to reservations, initially it was for 5 years. They were for 5 years. Now extended. Sometimes in the interview they may ask, can it be justified? In fact, a descriptive paper, many a time, there were questions based on reservation policy and reservations. Then you have to, whenever you talk about reservations, whenever you write about reservations, do remember you have to use the expression retributive justice. What does it mean? Retributive justice. Based on that, today we have reservations. In the past, certain communities they were not treated properly. To correct that, now we have provided the reservations, and this is what we call retributive justice. Retribution means punishment inflicted on someone, obviously, as vengeance for a wrongdoing in the past. It's a political term, actually, a political term. Now it gives an example of Delhi's Arvind Kejriwal, for instance, for example, had sought the support of other CMs against unilateral actions by the center that curtailed the powers of his government. In the past, he sought the support of other CMs regarding what the center curtailing his powers or center curtailing the powers of his government. There is one important word: curtail means to restrict, not allow someone to do something, to restrict someone. Miss Banerjee had vociferously supported him, but Mr. Kejriwal was not reciprocative when she raised concerns of overreach by the center. Now, when he talked about this, Ms. Banerjee responded positively. Vociferously, that's an important word. Vociferous means loud and forceful. It goes with demands. Vociferous opponent, vociferous demands. Supported him. But contrary information, Mr. Kejriwal was not reciprocative. Reciprocate means mutual mutual benefit, or I say something, I give you something, based on that, you give back something to me. That is known as reciprocating. Kejriwal was not reciprocative when she raised concerns of overreach by the center. Because of why? Why didn't he respond positively? The reason: retribution. The recent joint efforts by some CMs to persuade the center to withdraw its previous vaccination policy did not get wholehearted support from others. In the recent past, there were some efforts by some CMs to persuade the center to withdraw its previous vaccination policy. There was a positive result, but many they did not get wholehearted support. There is one phrase: wholehearted support, complete support from others. The CMs of Odisha, it gives an example to substantiate that statement. The CMs of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh, Naveen Patnaik and YS Jagan Mohan Reddy, have sought to keep the center in good humor. Now, there is one idiomatic expression here: good humor. In good humor means one meaning friendly, cheerful, in a positive attitude, with a positive attitude. They do not want to disturb the center. Nevertheless, the joint efforts by CMs did lead to a change in the vaccination policy. Now, recently we have done the new vaccination policy. One of the reasons, based on the efforts by the put in by the CMs of certain states, there was a positive impact, but not to a great extent. This talks about that. Nevertheless, the joint efforts by CMs did lead, emphatic, to a change in the vaccination policy. Joint strategy on farm loss could be more difficult as the impact is uneven across the states. Now, vaccination policy to some extent they were successful. Vociferous means loud and forceful. Joint strategy on farm loss could be more difficult, not that easy. What is the reason? As the impact is uneven across the states, not the same impact, uneven across the states. So it is going to be difficult. But a broader point raised by Ms. Banerjee about the center's tendency to ignore the states while formulating policy is salient. Now, in this, there is one important point. Salient means important. What is that salient feature or salient point, important point? Whatever the impact of this cooperation or whatever happens with farm loss, one thing is important: it stands out. What is that? The states were ignored while formulating the policy. That is not acceptable. She has also called for a continuing mechanism for CMs. This is reiteration of the same idea. She has also called for a continuing mechanism for CMs to cooperate on issues of center-state relations. The main idea of the editorial. There should be some sort of mechanism for CMs of different states to cooperate with one another when it comes to center-state relations. Turning this into a combative platform. There's one important word: combative means what? Ready to fight. Turning this into a combative platform could do more harm than good. That's an important expression. It could do more harm than good. That means it may be counterproductive, it may boomerang, but it is a suggestion worth pursuing. That's a good idea, worth pursuing, but got to be cautious, got to be careful. How does it end? Cooperative federalism, a concept that Prime Minister Narendra Modi advocates, can be pursued more meaningfully through continuous and harmonious communication with CMs. Now, today the PM talks about cooperative federalism. How is it possible? There should be, that can be pursued more meaningfully through continuous and harmonious, there's an important word, harmonious, everything in place, and no discordance. Harmonious means as a whole very pleasing. Harmonious communication with CMs. And what is the first step in that? A conversation on farm laws could be a good beginning. That could be a good beginning. It should be the first step. So this is all about the editorial. Though I have done very fast, it has taken 27 minutes. What is the word of the day? Vociferous, that's an important word we have got for the first time. What does it mean? Express opinions and complaints loudly and repeatedly. Loud, noisy, and repeatedly. You demand for something, then we say vociferous demand. Example. This is a very good example. It happens across the country in different parts of the world as well because of urbanization and development, industrialization. Local activist groups have become increasingly vociferous as the volume of traffic passing through the village has increased. Traffic passing through the village has increased. Then the local activist groups have become increasingly vociferous, loud, and demanding repeatedly. Word forms vociferous adjective, vociferously adverb. Word combinations are very important. Yes, of course. Vociferous demands, vociferous opponent, vociferous group. Typical combinations. Now, comprehension based questions. What is this editorial about? As usual, fine, that's wonderful. Thanks for the feedback, Pritham. Always, I'll take a minute. When I do this analysis, I'm a bit apprehensive in the sense time is very important. One thing, comprehension, those who are listening, those who are watching, their comprehension, their standards, very important. So, what is the apprehension I have? If I do it very fast, will they be able to understand? That is one thing bothers me all the time. And if you guys say, sir, the pace is okay, acceptable, and we are with you, I feel very happy. I'll focus more on what exactly I'm supposed to focus on. So, what is the second question over here? What seems part of a larger political project? Based on keywords, easy to answer. What does the government say regarding farm laws? What is the stand of the government? Obviously, it supports the laws. Otherwise, it wouldn't have brought those laws into existence. What has West Bengal CM proposed? Again, easy to answer. Why all non NDA CMs may not be willing to be part of a joint platform? They have their own political equations, and also they are worried about this punishment as a vengeance, retribution. Yes, what time is a live session? Every morning 7. These are the 5 questions you have to answer. I'm not quite sure how many of you have been answering these questions, but a request, when you see these questions, try to answer after the session immediately so that in the long run, when it comes to the descriptive paper, you will get benefited and you will be able to write the essay or the letter effortlessly. Now it is your time. Read first 5 questions based on today. The exercises are quite challenging. Be attentive, be alert, read the sentences meticulously, and try to answer. The Beatles will ever be my favorite pop group. Beatles a sensation once. The Beatles will ever be my favorite pop group. After Beatles, we got Michael Jackson. Now, where is the error? Question number one, based on error location, competitive and beneficial. Obviously, they have to say that, they will say that. The center will say something positive about farm laws. That goes without saying. It is quite obvious. Now I see a lot of students saying pop group, nothing wrong. Second part, but what is the error? There's so many adverbs, so many adjectives. Usually in English, who is this GB? Usually in English, we change adjectives to adverbs by adding ly. Silent, silently. Quick, quickly. Interesting, interestingly. Not always. Fast, based on that, a lot of people say fast, fastly. Not correct. Fast is an adjective as well as an adverb. General rule, add ly, you get adverb from the adjective. But you have to read a lot, and only then you can get adverbs and adjectives. Now there's an error in the second part, but what is it? Yes, Prithviraja says always. Pritham also says always. In this context, we cannot use ever. Always is a right word. Ever is an adverb, so is always. And one of the meanings of ever, always. But in this context, we cannot use the word ever. We should use the word always. The Beatles will always be my favorite. Something will be there forever. That's a different thing. Now, what is this question about? It is about adverb related to adverbs. Oh, Chinni, you are there. Fine. Let us go to question number 2. Read the sentence, and mind you guys, all these are actual questions from previous year's papers. Actual exam questions. Where is the error? Question number 2. A weak minded person is frightened away by the initial difficulties and gives up the attempt in despair. So where is the error? An easy one. GV has got it right. Arvind has got it right. Nagamani has got it right. After that, I see Nagamaleshwari and Sandeep. Now here, the sentence is in passive voice. Listen very carefully. He is always frightened by something. Active voice or passive voice, you should know. It is in passive voice. Then comes the question for the same sentence, what is active form? Something always frightens him. Something always frightens him. Active voice. He is always frightened by something. So here, a weak minded person is frightened. Always remember any sentence pattern. I repeat, any sentence pattern in passive voice, the main verb is always in past participle form. What is the main verb over here? Frighten. It's a regular verb. Frighten, frightened, frightened. So, what is the past participle? Frightened. Based on that, it is not correct to say frighten. It should be frightened. What is the correct expression? A weak minded person is frightened away by initial difficulties. Now, when you come across a question like this, first you try to spot the error. Be a smart learner. Who is a smart learner? You get the answer, then you go to the next question. In my opinion, you're not a smart learner. Then, what is smart learning? First, you get the answer, and this is in passive voice. The question is about passive voice. Then, you should ask yourself, what is the same sentence, the same idea in active voice? Initial difficulties frighten away a weak minded person. That you should be able to tell or write somewhere. That will help in the long run. Now, let us go to question number 3. Men are wanted for the Army and Navy and the Air Force. There's a common error. Beatles is a name of a band. Oh, who is this? Minu. Beatles, the name of a pop group related to music in the West. If you go to the western part of the world, the US, European countries, there are certain they're fond of music. Initially, a particular group became very popular. Beatles, the Beatles, very popular group, name of a group, and yes, that's right. And later, when it comes to pop music, we talk king of pop music, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson became very popular. Beatles is the name of a group. Men are wanted for the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. Where is the error? This is a very good question, and it goes with common errors. Navy, there's no problem. The Army and Navy and the Air Force. Yes, here I think Shankar has got it right, and Tirupati has got it right. But what is the right word? See, there are two things over here. One is the Army and Navy. The Navy is understood, and the Air Force. See, they have separated the Army and Navy, one unit. The goes with Army and Navy and the Air Force. There's nothing wrong with that. But here, The word wanted is not correct. Wanted goes with the police department. There's a thief, there's a fugitive, there's a criminal. They use the word wanted. But here, these men, the context doesn't talk about that. It talks about a weak minded person frightens away. A weak minded person, how can he frighten away? He is weak minded. He cannot do that. That is an active voice, but that is not meaningful. A strong minded person can frighten away the problems. A strong minded person can frighten away the difficulties. A weak minded person, how can he do that? He is frightened by the difficulties. It is quite opposite. Now, here, required, needed, better word, required. So, men are required. But quite often in the newspapers also you see wanted. That is not the right word. It goes with common errors. Men are required. Appropriate word. Wanted has a negative connotation. It goes with the police department, with criminals. But here we are talking about the defense, army, navy, and air force. So what is the right word? Required. Question is about inappropriate word. Now let us go to question number 4. I did not receive any letter from my parents for the last 2 months. Have and 2 times, where is it? Is it previous question? I don't know what exactly you're talking about. Please mention the question number GB, only then I can answer. My pleasure, Aniket. Please go to question number 4. I did not receive any letter from my parents for the last 2 months. Any letter, nothing wrong. I did not receive. Any goes with interrogative and negative forms. Some goes with affirmative forms. Nothing wrong with that. Have not received. Yes. Who is this? Nagamalleshwari has got it right. After that, Ishwar has got it right. Not hadn't, haven't. Swarupa has got it right. And Rishita also. Here, for the last 2 months, there are certain phrases. Based on those time phrases, you can make out the sentence should be in which tense. For the last 2 months, for the last 2 years, for the last so many days, these time phrases go with present perfect as well as present perfect continuous. But here it should be in present perfect, past to present. I haven't received any letter from my parents for the last 2 months. So it is about tense. Which tense? Present perfect tense. I have not received. Oh, Adi, naval veteran. That's wonderful. Glad you're here. I see your name quite often popping up. That's very good. So, what is this question about? Present perfect tense. Now, if you ask me, so how do we know this? The time phrase is the answer. That is the reason why I tell students repeatedly, I reiterate, when you read a sentence, look for the time phrase. The moment you see the time phrase, you know how to find out the error. That saves your time. Question number 5. This is an important question. Regular classes, we talk about this. You should be able to get it right. When I was passing through the forest, you can say when I was or while I was. Either way, no problem. Why not had not? No, it talks about the phrase had not goes with two actions in the past, then first action past perfect, second action past. Here the situation from the past to the present. An action begins in the past, comes to the present, it stops there. Then so far, till now, for the last 2 months, for the past 2 years, since 2010, we should use either present perfect or present perfect continuous. Yes, who is this? Ishwar has got it right. After that, I see Nagamani, Aman, Vamsi, GV, all these students. Absolutely right. Now, I happen to see a number of deer, not deers, noun related. What is the rule here? Listen very carefully. There are certain nouns, whether singular or plural, we should use the same form. Some nouns always have the same form for singular and plural. What are the examples? Deer, sheep, salmon, trout, cod, offspring, aircraft, and spacecraft. But exam point of view, uh, deer once or twice, many a time sheep, very important. Salmon, very important. Offspring, very important. Now listen to me for a few seconds. When it comes to the newspapers, today the Hindu paper also, they use offsprings, aircrafts, spacecrafts. This is modern English, current English. From the exam point of view, we don't consider modern English, current English. We go with standard British English. According to that, all these examples, whether singular or plural, they have the same form. An important rule: sheep, deer, salmon, trout, cod, offspring, all these. Now, an important para jumble. The Economist magazine, the source is the Economist magazine. This is an important magazine. SBI usually they take the articles from the Economist magazine and they give us passages for close test and as para jumbles. So try to get this right. It is not possible to provide everything, Uday Kumar. Here we are doing so many things: analysis, comprehension, vocabulary, grammar, exam practice questions based on exam topics. And I cannot give the words, meanings. I do agree. Many students will get benefited. I'll keep it open. I'm not saying no. I'll try to. I will try to. What is up? No, no, I'm giving you time. Not easy to respond immediately. D is a first one. I'm afraid, not correct. I'm afraid means it doesn't mean I'm scared or frightened. It is used. I'm afraid, no. Means I'm sorry, no. No one has got it right. Parajumble, not only you, Chini, a lot of students, they are not good at parajumbles. One of the reasons, the reading habit. See, a lot of people talk about grammar rules and shortcuts. Yes, they are useful to save your time. I don't deny that. But that is one part of the picture. You have to look, you have to take a holistic approach. And what is very important from selection point of view, reading comprehension skill and vocabulary. And for that, you got to read a lot. Without reading, practically impossible to handle all these. Now I see some students have got, Kumari has got it right, Yakub has got it right, and Rishita has got it right. Now I see a lot of students, more than 10 students. C is the first one. Perfect. Start with that. Imagine an investment that would earn a return of 17,900% in 4 years. Oh, that is mind blowing, mind boggling. What is the second one? I agree. One is C. One is not A. One is C. Imagine an investment that would earn a return of 17,900% in 4 years. That is unimaginable, astonishing, amazing, incredible. Not easy. FD, no, no, no. C is the first one, already have said. C is the first one. What is the second one? We can't afford to spend a lot of time, but still, give it a try. It is not CFD. No, Nagamani, not correct. I'm sorry. It is not CF. No one has got it right so far. Who is this? Aniket has got it right. The second one is A. Better yet, the initial outlay would be easily affordable. 17,900% in 4 years, on the one hand. On the other hand, initial outlay would be easily affordable. You don't have to invest a lot. There is a clue in that. Who is this? Now, Sanjay, she got it right. The answer, there's a question. Who on earth would pass up such an opportunity? Answer, the answer, it seems, is the leaders of the group of seven, G7. CAF, very good. One student has got it right. That is Sanjay has got. Sanjay Matangi. I appreciate that. CAF, one group. The answer, it seems, is the leaders of the group of seven, G7. Fourth one should be easy. CAF. E is not the first one. No, no. C is the first one. The fourth one is D. The answer, it seems, is the leaders of the group of seven, G7, a club of rich democracies, which holds its annual summit this week. CAF. D, not B. Fourth one is D. That's right, Naresh. Fourth one is D. And after, not B, D. After that, by failing to act fast enough to inoculate the world against COVID 19, they are passing up the deal of the century. Imagine 17,900% returns in 4 years. That is a deal of the century. The fifth one is E. And what is the last one? B is the last one. That is not just economically foolish, it is a moral failure and a diplomatic disaster too. That is the last sentence. Now let us have a look. I'm going to show one by one. Imagine an investment that would earn a return of 17,900% in 4 years. First one. Better yet, the initial outlay would be easily affordable. Who on earth would pass up such an opportunity? The answer, it seems, is the leaders of the group of seven, G7, a club of rich democracies which holds its annual summit this week. By failing to act fast enough to inoculate the world against COVID 19, they are passing up the deal of the century. And the last sentence, that is not just economically foolish, it is a moral failure and a diplomatic disaster too. Has anyone got this right? I appreciate. And this is for two reasons. Not enough time, and it is from the Economist magazine. The standards are very high, exam standards. Now, for the first time, I have brought synonyms, antonyms, idioms, exam point of view. What is the answer? Synonyms, repeal. Repeal means what? We are running out of time. Please answer. Parajumble is not easy to answer in a few minutes, but generally I tell take elimination approach and try to get the first one. It is easy to get the first sentence or the sentence with the main idea, the topic sentence. Then there are certain tips we give. I will do a special video. Wait for some time. Cancel, repeal means what? Cancellation. That is the answer. We'll do very fast. Repeal means what? Synonyms, cancellation. Not acceptance, not rejection, dejection. Don't feel dejected means don't feel disappointed. Don't lose your motivation. It is difficult, too difficult. I do agree. Now answer the second one, tenet. Tenet means what? Based on certain tenets, we use that regularly. So cancellation over, go to question number 2 based on synonyms. What is the answer? First one is over. Please go to repeal, that is over. Revoke, annul, cancel. Yes, that is the answer, but I want you guys to go to the second one. You're still with the first one. We are running out of time. It's already 7:50. Tenet means what? Not perspective. It is not perspective, and it is not provision. Pooja Singh, Aryan has got it right. Belief. What is the answer? Tenet means belief. Based on certain tenets means what? Based on certain. Sir, difference between reject, refuse, deny. Reject, someone gives you something and you don't accept, rejected. And refuse goes more with someone blames you and you refuse to accept that blame. Deny also means the same. He has denied something. Deny usually goes with something, someone has been pointed out or accused, then we use the word deny. He has denied the allegation. He has denied something. It has a negative connotation. Please extend this class till 8:30, sir. No, I cannot do that. Already 60 minutes. Many of these students, they are preparing for exams. Every minute is important. Now let us go to the next one. Famished. These are all from actual exams, previous year's questions. Tenant, not tenant. Tenant is a different word. A person who pays the rent. Landlord, landlady, opposite, Tenant, I'm a tenant. I pay the rent. But tenant means what? It is like a belief. Now, what is the answer? Famished. No one has responded. I want you guys to respond quickly. Famished, glut means excess. Starved is the answer. Jaded, boring, very you get bored, jaded. Saturated means you are satisfied fully. So what is the answer? Fourth option, starved is the answer. Fourth option is the answer. Thrashing. You can answer this one. Jaded is not correct. Jaded means bored or not interesting, not enthusiastic. Famished population, starved population. Thrashing means what? You have got this word many a time. That's what I've done. Here, glut means excess, jaded, bored, saturated, fully satisfied. You satisfy yourself completely. Then it is saturated. And what is the answer? Starved. I've done already. I'm doing very fast because of the time factor. Thrashing, what is the answer? Bashing, to beat someone severely. And the idiomatic expression, to beat someone black and blue. Edifies, the building, a major building, we use the word edifies. And also a strong system. And prefabrication, fabrication goes with interiors. Prefabrication, fine, that's okay. I will remember that. And before fabrication and contour, this goes with geology. Contours means the outlines of something. It goes with the subject geology and also geography. Contours means the outlines of something. Famine also means famine means no rain for a long time. Because of that, people suffer a lot, and that results in starvation. Now let us go to question number 5. Persist. Persist means what? Now we have to hurry up. Persist. Yes. Edifying schools. Edify. A huge building, a huge structure. Persist means if one student, at least one student responds with the right answer, I will give the answer and we'll go to the next question to save time. Persist, resist. You resist something. Yes, skyscrapers. That's right, Adi. And city of skyscrapers. Which city is known as city of skyscrapers? New York City. Resist is the answer. It is not leave. It is not quit. It is not, I'm sorry. Insist is the answer. It is not resist. It is not leave. It is not quit. Persist means insist. Persistent efforts. Insist. Answer is the fourth option. Not resist. Insist. Now let us go to question number one related to antonyms. Now these are antonym related. Yes, scarcity of food, lack of food. Please go to antonyms. Adept. These are tough. First, you have to know the meaning of the word adept. Only then you can think of, yes, Aryan. Insist is the answer. Please go to question number one, antonyms, not synonyms. Adept means skilled. What is opposite? It is not ignorance. Yes, Raghu has got it right. It is inept. Inept means one meaning, inappropriate. Another meaning, not skilled. Adept, skilled, opposite. Second option, inept. Lacuna, that's an important word. Lacuna means the gaps in something. Lacuna in something means the gaps in something. Inexperience, an easy word. Not skillful, that's right. Scatter, things are scattered. Adept, lacuna means gaps. Tirupati Rao, that's what I've just said. Lacuna in the law, loopholes in the law, gaps in the law. Scatter, what is opposite? This is a bit difficult. No, no, that is there. 20 seconds lag is there. We have done it intentionally. It happens every time. Don't worry about that. I may say that. I'll wait for your responses. Scatter, what is the answer? Collect. Very good. Who is this? GV. Let us not waste time. Scatter, scattered. collect, opposite. Now let us go to piling up one above the other. Then store, easy word. Hoard is an important word. Hoarding. Hoarding has two different meanings. One meaning, when you go out, you see big advertisement boards. Those are known as hoardings, British English. American English, we say billboards. Billboard, hoarding, one and the same. Another meaning of hoarding, hoard, to store something secretly. To store something secretly, that is known as hoarding. That's an important word. Now let us go to despair. What is the opposite of despair? I think 8 people are leaving. I don't know the exact reason. Maybe they have another session or they have to rush to offices. That's the reason why I can't extend it beyond 8. Despair means what? Yes, hoarding means illegally storing something. And as a noun, what is the other word? Billboard, that goes with American English. Despair means what? No hope. And what is opposite? Hope. Answer is the first option. It is not repair, it is not sorrow, it is not empty. Pompous. Pompous means showy. You try to show off a lot. That is known as pompous. And what is opposite? Uppish also means the same. Meek means weak, meek personality, weak personality. Grandiose, pompous, grandiose, exaggerate, or extravagant, all one and the same, but they want the opposite. What is opposite of pompous? To store something illegally. Yes, Yakub, you're right. Here, humble. What is the answer? Humble, down to earth, simple, modest. Opposite, pompous, grandiose, uppish. No, no, answer is humble. Humble person, simple, modest, down to earth. The last one, serene. Serene means what? Calm and quiet. Calm and quiet. One of the meanings. Peaceful, tranquil. What is opposite? Calm, same meaning. Angry, ruffled. Ruffled, one of the meanings, disturbed. But here, calm, opposite should be, not bitter. It is angry. What is the answer? Second option, angry is the answer. Very good. Sandeep has got it right. Rama Devi also. Sai Arvind. Wonderful. Let us go to idioms. 5 questions based on idioms. Nothing to worry, Vijay Kumar. Slowly you will be learning. And remember, the first day itself you cannot get all the 30 correct. Slowly, it is progressive, not retrogressive. The other day someone was asking, sir, what is opposite of progressive? Progressive, positive. Opposite, going down, retrogressive. Remember the word retrogressive. The judge declared the agreement null and void. 5. So what is the answer? Null and void. That's an important one. Murthy Sir is serene while taking class. Thank you. Who is this GV? Now what is the answer for the first idiom? Empty? No. Annulled? Answer is the second option. Annul. You have just got annul, revoke, repeal, make something null and void, not legally acceptable. Answer is the second option. Now let us go to question number 2. I stirred the hornet's nest by my honest statement. Annulled is the answer. I have given the answer already. Not binding. No, no, no. Not binding. In a way, but the right word is annulled, revoke, repeal, annul. All the words could be used. So what is the answer for the second one? Considered invalid. Perfect. Prithvi Raja. Something considered invalid. Null and void. Invalid. And here, the second question based on idioms. I stirred the honest nest by my honest statement. Second one, it is second option, caused anger in many people, disturbed a lot of people, made a lot of people angry, caused anger. Yes, Sandeep, you're right. Perfect. Answer is the second option. Let us go to the third one. On second thoughts, I use this quite often. On second thoughts, she refused to accept his invitation. What is the answer? On second thoughts, I have decided not to go there. We use it in everyday conversational English. Answer is at least one student has to respond. 2 2. Vishal, second one is over. Please go to the third one. No one has responded. Perhaps you must have responded, waiting for that. Reconsider. Very good. Who is this? Sandeep has got it right. Answer is the first option. On second thoughts, on reconsideration. Very good. Many students have got it right. Pranita has got it right. Bala Saraswati, third one, Nagamaleshwari, and Jagannatham. Wonderful. Vamsi, Chinni. Go to question number 4. Tirupati Rao also. Oh, so many of you have got it right. Others don't feel bad. Let us look at question number 4. My uncle's business has gone to the dogs. This also I use regularly. There are two idioms, gone to the dogs, gone down the drain. Both mean the same. Go to dogs, go down the drain. Answer, Chinni, yes. Good, good. I appreciate Chinni. Be happy. I miss a few names. Not possible. So many messages, so many comments continuously. Not easy. So, what does it mean? Answer is the first option, ruined. Go to dogs means to get spoiled, ruined. You can also think of another idiom. What is that? Go down the drain. All his efforts have gone down the drain. All his efforts have gone to the dogs. Means what? Wasted, ruined, spoiled. The last one. A lot of people do this. Sheila's tall tales have no meaning. What is the idiom? Tall tales. What does it mean? Easy to guess, not that difficult. It's already 3 past 8. I'm worried about the time factor. Now, today, let us take the last exercise as assignment. We'll see the answers tomorrow. Tall tales means boasting. Very good. Sandeep has got it right. Third option, boast, brag, blow one's own trumpet. Similar synonym for boast. What is boasting? Talking about oneself, one's possessions all the time. Boasting, bragging. And there's one idiomatic expression. What is that? It means to blow one's own trumpet. My all work's gone to the dogs because Murthy Sir's class time. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Shall I continue or shall we take this as an assignment? We'll see the answers tomorrow. Please say yes, no, continue, don't continue. It's already 4 past 8. I want you guys to respond yes, no. If you say, sir, we'll stop here, I'll wind up the session. No, sir, we'll finish off the last exercise, then we'll wind up the session. I will continue. Besides a part, generally we talk about besides means in addition to. Apart from this, it also means the same. Besides this, apart from this, more or less the same. But usage point of view, when it comes to certain combinations, we use and regularly we use besides. Besides goes with everyday English. Apart from goes with effective English. That is one difference I can tell. I teach English besides French. Only an example. So I don't say I teach English apart from French. That is very formal. Besides, continue. Fine. Now you respond quickly. Repeal. What is the answer? No second thoughts about that. Very good. Who is that? Naresh. You have used the right expression. Now let us go to this repeal. Try to answer quickly. What is the meaning of that? Here it is. Let me have a look. Yes, it is a verb. Means what? E is the answer. Annul, revoke, repeal, make something null and void. Retributive. Retributive, adjective, retribution, noun. So here I'll write adjective means what? Not complete meaning, punishment as an act of vengeance or some wrongdoing. So answer is H. Curtail, it's a regular verb. Curtail, curtailed, curtailed. It's a verb, means what? Restrict, restrict. Someone has gone to the fourth one, faster than the master. Vociferous, important word, word of the day, means what? Vociferous, demand, opponent, adjective, means what? Loud and forceful, loud and forceful. Salient, salient features, important features. A typical combination. Adjective means what? Important. Answer is D. Combative, combat, fight. Combative, ready to fight all the time. Yes, Ravi Teja. Here it is adjective. Combative, mood all the time. Not a good thing. Ready to fight. Answer is I. Harmonious, harmonious relationship. A typical combination. Everything is in place, no discordant, and as a whole, very pleasing. Harmonious relationship. So it is an adjective. What is the answer? Pleasing whole. F is the answer. Now let us go to F is the answer. Then remunerative. Remunerative job means profitable or lucrative. Lucrative is an important word. Remember, usually it goes with business. Answer is C. Vulnerable. Here I have used a synonym. Vulnerable person, vulnerable community. Adjective. Means what? Endangered. Answer is G. Now, what is the last one? Rivalries. Noun, obviously. Rivalry singular, rivalries plural. So, what are you left with? Competition or competitions. Here it is B. That's all about the words from the editorial. Thanks for being with me till 8 past 8. I would like to thank all those students who have been here till the end. And before I wind up the session, do remember to share and subscribe and share. And there's a Telegram group. Join. You'll be getting important information. And also after the session, I'm going to provide the link PDF and try to access the PDF and download. Have a nice day. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.